Welcome back to a new video here at Life for the Bridges. Coming up in this video, we have some fun in the sun with our boy, and we continue our training for our biggest charity challenge yet, which is only a matter of days away, which, you guessed it, involves more blisters. And finally, Kate tells you a little bit about why this charity event is so special to us, as she takes you on a trip down memory lane all about Teddy's journey.
And we put Teddy in the car, and he was limp. And they diagnosed him with pneumonia, and 2 days later tried to send us home again.
So if you haven't already, hit that subscribe button. But for now, let's start our morning.
Good morning, we are starting the week fresh on a Monday. It is early morning, it's 5 o'clock in the morning, and I have booked this off work as I need to get a big practice walk in this morning. So I plan to go out for 2 hours and see if I can get in around about 10-kilometre walk, because our big charity fundraising event is 20 days away today. And no, I still haven't sorted out my boot issue. I think I have, because what I've actually done is resorted back to my original boots, but a size bigger, and thinking that is the problem, because comfort-wise and support-wise, they were exactly what I need. They just put too much pressure on my toes. So they'll be coming on Wednesday, so fingers crossed that sorts that issue out. But whilst I'm talking to the camera, I've got a little update for you regarding Teddy and a synaptin test, in which we had done quite a few weeks ago, which is the whole test and find out why his cortisol levels aren't being produced by himself. So just to catch you up to speed, we finally had the test after the third attempt, and the results came back that he was still critically low in terms of the cortisol that he was producing. So we obviously assumed and were waiting for Great Ormond Street Hospital to go back to the endocrinology team to come up with a plan going forward to try and shock Teddy's body and actually creating it himself. And we were also told by our local hospital, which was the hospital that did the test, they were going to pass all the information and results on to Great Ormond Street Hospital so that could progress on further. It's probably about 6 weeks down the line where we were like, we should probably start chasing this endocrinology team at Great Ormond Street to actually understand what the plan is going forward, because we still have had no medication structure changed or just any idea of what we were meant to be doing in the future. So we chased Great Ormond Street Hospital, and it turns out that our local hospital never sent them the results in the first place, so they didn't have any results to get back to us upon. So once again, bit of a big slip up from our local hospital, because 6 weeks has gone past and nothing has changed. And so over the weekend, we have obviously sent the information to Great Ormond Street Hospital. Within the same day, the doctor had reviewed his results and came up with a plan, and that plan is that they want to try and increase one of the doses, so his 2 o'clock dose, from 1 ml to 2 ml, so we give him in total 5 ml a day rather than just 4. What that's going to do, I'm not sure, but at least we have a plan. But it certainly helps that if the hospital actually have the results, for them to be able to give us a plan going forward. But well done to our local hospital again. All addressed now, and phone is going down. I'm concentrating on this walk, and we'll touch base with you later on today. I am 6 kilometres in. I am wearing my special socks, although I'm wearing trainers because my new boots haven't arrived. I've got a blister on my right ankle. This isn't boding well, ladies and gentlemen, but either way, we have got to do over 80 kilometres and 6 kilometres in. Although it's a beautiful morning, I have a blister forming, and that wasn't meant to rhyme, by the way. Not sure if we've bit off more than we can chew with this challenge. 20 days, under 3 weeks, to condition this body, these ankles, these knees, these toes, the soles of our feet, as much as we possibly can. And trust me when I say this, we are out here working. It's not a lack of trying, it's not a lack of preparation. It's just a lot for the body to handle, especially at the ripe old age of 34. But we shall keep trying, we shall keep pushing, and we shall keep striving towards that goal of achieving this challenge. But my right ankle is killing me. I'm just actually taking my sock off and my shoe off to see if it's just rubbing or whether there's a blister forming. And there is a blister. So I have to get the shoes off later, get that dried out. I'm just going to push through this one. I'm just going to allow the blister to form, because it is what it is. Tough body, tough mind. Let's go. So I am 8 kilometres in now, and I've decided that the worse this blister gets, the least amount of training I'll be able to do in the next few days. So I'm taking a turn for home. I still reckon I'm about 1 kilometre and a bit away from home, so it'll be around about a 10-kilometre walk. But I'm in a lot of pain now, so I don't know if I need new socks. I don't know if I need to strap up my ankle. But other than that, no dramas whatsoever. Feet feel fine, knees feel fine, ankles feel fine, apart from the blister. Fitness is great. I'm actually really enjoying it. I could have just gone on for miles, but blister, blister, blister. Right, homeward bound. Let's get these socks off and get it dry and see what we're working with. Well, there we have it. 10 kilometres done in the bag. But let's see what this blister looks like. Oh. Got one there. One there, another one there. They don't look a lot, but they never do. But trust me, that is painful.
I let the blisters breathe, and it was time to get the cub out for a morning of activity, chosen by the main man himself, and he chose the park. So the park it was, and he was off in his own little world. And the older he is getting, the more independent he's becoming. He's often quite liked playing on his own without necessarily needing me to watch his every move, which is so lovely to see. But after he played in the park for a while, we stopped off for a little picnic break in the shade, which topped up his energy levels for a go on the zip wire.
Oh, I still hate these things. Hold on tight, mate. Big strong boy. Woohoo! Keep holding on until you get this end. Good boy. Well done. Do you know what? There's a little bit of transparency about something that I've learned about myself since being in this park. It's probably because of the fact that Teddy doesn't go to school and I haven't had to have too much engagement with other children that I don't know and what have you. And yeah, there was these two kids in the park who were just being children in a way that they were just older than Teddy and were saying that he couldn't come up the slide because he was too young and wasn't strong enough, and then they started chucking sand and all these things that children do. And I felt myself getting really upset and annoyed inside that, and I was just a bit like, obviously never going to address these children directly because their parents were there to sort of rectify it, but I just found myself being really sort of protective of Teddy, just a bit like almost wanted to go over there and say, no, don't throw sand at him. And also he's absolutely capable of going up there. But I think these are normal things that parents face that I've never had to face before, because the only children that he spends time around is his family, which I'm just more than comfortable to be around. Whereas when other parents don't address something that I would address with Teddy, like if Teddy threw sand at another child, I'd address him instantly. Because these parents weren't doing it, it was slightly frustrating. So, but there's a bit of transparency. I think it's also because we've had to be so fiercely protective of him in terms of everything he does for his safety, for his medications, for just everything through his journey, that to suddenly let go of that and not be protective over him is a really hard task, when actually these kids are just going to be feral together, and each individual child is in their own little stage in their life in terms of development and understanding and stuff like that. And I just found it quite interesting because my protective side of me wanted to just to go and help Teddy out, and actually it's down to him to find that confidence and the skills to be able to stand on his own 2 feet. And if, you know, a kid chucks sand at him, then he needs to address it, and kids will be kids. So there was nothing that the children were doing wrong. It was purely just interesting from my perspective as a parent, wanting to just go and scoop him up and make sure he was okay. And it's something that I need to work on as a parent, just letting him gain and develop his own skills amongst other children, which is going to happen more and more the older he gets. So, but that is us done here at the park. We've had a lovely time, a morning of fresh air and sunshine. We're going to head home for a little nap, and I've got some cycling to do this evening because it is double training days as of now. 20 days till our fundraising event. More steps with the cub. And if you thought that I was joking about my blister earlier, check it out. That is 2 blisters just by 10 kilometres. Crazy. I can only imagine what 80 kilometres is going to feel like. I'm quite glad that I stopped when I did, just at 10k today, because I could have done some serious damage, even though if I probably put a shoe on now, I probably wouldn't be able to walk comfortably with that blister on. But yeah, I need to let this heal. My boots are coming in 2 days time, so back to training then. But until then, I think I'm just going to get my training done on our bike, just so I keep moving. But for now, Crocs and a walk in the woods it is.
Once we had finished our little wander down the woods with Willow, we returned back home to Katie's arrival of her third pair of boots, still trying to find some that fit. She put on her sexy merino wool walking socks, and we hoped that these were the boots that Katie was going to do the challenge in.
Are they gonna fit?
We finally have a pair of boots for one of us!
I've got to take it for a test run now.
Although I have a blister, it doesn't mean the work stops there. I'm about to have a 45-minute run in with the bike. Training must continue.
Good morning everybody. It's a Wednesday here and we've got just over 2 weeks to go until our walk. Usually I'd have Teddy on a Wednesday, but his nanny's just come back from France, so she's taken him out for the day with his cousins and it's freed me up for a long training walk. I haven't really walked much further than about 12 kilometres I'd say, so this is going to be a big test for me. Put my new boots into practice and hope that we don't have any problems there. I've eaten plenty. I've packed a big bag as if it was challenge day, and today is all about testing out my body, pushing it to the limit, seeing where the problems lie, and also making sure I've got all the right equipment that I think I might need, seeing if there's anything missing that could be useful, and just seeing how we go really. I'm going to stick to a walk locally. Scott was meant to be coming today, but because he is also having boot issues and blister issues, he's going to sit this one out until his new boots arrive. So yeah, I'm going to stay local just so I'm familiar with all of the area on such a long walk and see how I get on and hope that I don't get lost. I'll take you along with me and hopefully you'll be able to hear later on in this video a little bit more about what this walk means to me and why we're doing this. That's it, I'm off. I have mapped this walk to be about 20 kilometres, which at dog walking pace should take me 4 hours, but I'm going to say that this won't be dog walking pace the whole way, because I'd say dog walking pace is walking with purpose and I need to try and remember to pace myself, and I'm sure that I'll slow down a little bit halfway through. So yeah, we'll see how it goes and I'll keep checking in along the way. I've sent my location to Scott so he can track me. He'll be able to see if I suddenly stop for a long period of time. Yeah, one thing I'm going to try and do is enjoy it, because I find walking really boring, especially in places that you're familiar with and walk all the time. So yeah, I'm just going to try and stop thinking about the time and the distance and focusing on what hurts and what doesn't, or problems, but actually just try and get out of my head in that respect and just enjoy the peace and quiet, the solo mini adventure, and maybe just try and get into my thoughts a little bit, I suppose. Treat it as a therapy walk. Slightly triggering, and I shall tell you why in a minute. I didn't realise this exact footpath / road is the road to the Warren, which was Teddy's very, very first ever nursery. Absolutely beautiful place, I have to say. It's up this driveway, so it's a massive barn just in the countryside, and it was the most beautiful nursery, but sadly Teddy only made it through 2 maybe settle sessions before we were pulling him out because he was on antibiotics, which obviously antibiotics and temperatures, they're not allowed to be sent in, just so that they don't spread things around. And I think it was that same week that Teddy had his leukemia diagnosis, so yeah, what a way to start the walk. We are going to go on a journey down an emotional memory lane here. Guys, can I just say, this walk is definitely going to take me longer than it should do, because, I mean, look at this. This is the dream, right? Little small holding. The ponies, the goats, the sheep, and this chunky, I'm pretty sure that's just a pet living his best life. I'm an hour in, and the jury is definitely out on these boots, I say. Definitely got rubbing in the same part on both feet. I mean, that's to be expected with new boots, but we'll see how that goes. And I can't believe I'm saying this, but I still think they're slightly too small. Watch this space, I might be ordering my 4th pair of boots very soon. Catch up with you in an hour on that one and see how they're going. More steps. Quick snack break. Nana. Now, I wouldn't say I'm hungry at this point. I've only been walking an hour and a half. It's just, I know what I'm like. I've done this on long walks before. I don't feel hungry, and then out of nowhere comes this awful, like, I guess it's sugar crash, I suppose, where you just suddenly feel all weak and jittery. And once you get to that point, it's hard, I find, to get yourself back out of it, and your body just starts just feeling really, weak and get the jitters, I suppose. So, yeah, I thought, no, I'm going to have something now and try and avoid that moment. So, yeah, cheers to me Nana. Something you've probably noticed is I'm not wearing headphones, thanks to Teddy, because I took my AirPods out on a walk the other day and I got back and Teddy had relocated my AirPods case, so now they're sat on the side, uncharged and unusable, so I'm not too worried about it. It's one of those situations where it's just going to turn up at some point in a really random place. I'm not going to go too far out of my way to start searching for them. What will be, but it's quite nice. It's very peaceful with my thoughts, and yeah. No headphones for me. I've also taken my rings off because I don't know about any of you, but another thing that happens to me on a long walk is like really fat sausage fingers and they start to feel really tight. So yeah, that's another fun symptom of a long walk for you. And I'm climbing up a big hill, as you can probably tell. Keep pushing on. Full appreciation for all these beautiful wildflower fields. Ah, absolutely stunning. Okay guys, I'm going to stop talking for a while. I know I promised you at the start of this video that I would share a little bit about what this means to me and why Scott and I are doing this, so I will talk about it in a bit. Not live though, actually. Very special video, pre-recorded, coming up for you slightly later on in the walk. And just take a look at this. So I've come against my first problem. My phone battery's on its way out and I've just plugged in the new battery pack and it's not working. So thankfully I'm near home. I don't want to give up my walk. Yeah, I've still got a long way to go. I'm halfway through, feeling good. So I want to make the most of this time to keep walking. So thankfully Scott's going to just drop one to me. Luckily I'm actually on a road part of the walk at the moment. So he's just going to whiz around in the car. It's funny, isn't it? You could be walking for hours and still only a 5-minute car journey from home. So he's going to drop something to me and I can carry on.
I'm looking for a lady who dramatically needs some battery pack. There she is. Do you need a battery?
Yeah.
How you feeling?
Yeah, fine.
Yeah?
I've lost my mojo now because I've had to stop.
Don't stop, you're doing amazing.
Okay, my phone's plugged in, hence the dodgy angle, and we're back on track. Felt like I lost my mojo a little bit there, you know, when you stop and you have to rectify something and you kind of lose your pace and feel like you failed slightly, but it's what this walk's all about, practicing what's going to go wrong and all of that. So yeah, the main point is keep moving now and keep pushing my new boots and my legs and everything else and see how we go. I had a bit of a long road stretch a minute ago, which was so boring. I thought, oh my goodness, it's so easy to just lose your head and get bored and start counting minutes. But no, back in a beautiful field again and still moving. Probably got about a quarter of the way to go now. And I know I promised you a little bit more from me on the reasons why. So we're obviously doing this walk for Lennox Children's Cancer Fund, who hold a very dear place in our hearts for all that they've done for us and continue to do, to be fair, for us and Teddy and for all of those other families that they are unfortunately supporting through quite possibly the worst times of their lives. So yeah, it's all for them. Have a look at this video, see what you think. We are very grateful to have been able to share our story with Lennox and in hope that it helps them with their fundraising events in the future, and it's just nice to give back. So yeah, have a little look at the video, see what you think, and yeah, thank you for sticking by us and me on this walk. I've probably chewed your ear off a little bit, but as far as it goes, pretty good walk, very happy with this. Feel like I could keep walking for hours, which is a good sign, but also I don't want to push myself to the point of breaking or feeling awful, because I want to leave today's walk feeling confident and happy and knowing I can keep going further. So yeah, I'll sign off when I finish, but for now enjoy a little bit more about my reasons why I would like to give back to Lennox Children's Cancer Fund.
So I'm Katie, I'm 34 and I am married to Scott, my husband. Teddy is my son and he's 2 at the moment. He'll be 3 in a couple of weeks' time. Teddy is very carefree, very happy little boy. Absolutely loves animals, totally obsessed. But he's also, I'd say, a little showman in the making. if he's confident and you know him, you won't hear him talking. He's just constantly singing and putting on a show. Teddy started to fall quite poorly from, I'd say, about 6 months old. We had a few dismissive trips, I'd say, to A&E where it felt like we were being judged a little bit, like this lady's a first-time mum, she's worrying about her son, we see this all the time, he just needs antibiotics, and off we go again. The final trip to A&E, before finding out what was really going on, I woke up and I checked Teddy on the camera and he was breathing so fast like a train. I sent it to Scott and I phoned 999 and said, there's something wrong with my son, he's struggling to breathe. And they said, you need to go in, but there's no ambulances, they're all on strike. So Scott came home from work and we put Teddy in the car and he was limp and they diagnosed him with pneumonia. And 2 days later tried to send us home again. It was only when Scott said, there's no way I'm leaving until you find out why this keeps happening, that they ran bloods. And then a couple of hours later they walked in and I thought they wanted to speak to us both together, what's going on? And that's when they said, there's a high white blood cell count and your son has leukemia. But that's all they could tell us because they needed to send more bloods to Great Ormond Street to give a full diagnosis. So they dropped a bomb and walked out the room and we just were left wondering what the hell was going to happen next. Trying to put into words how I felt hearing that, it's really difficult. I felt like, as a first-time mum, all of those new experiences and all of that joy that I should have been feeling was stolen from me. I felt terrified, but I had this sudden wave of strength come over me where I was like, I'm not going to let my emotions get in the way here. I'm here for one purpose, and that's to make sure that my son gets through this. Teddy had to remain in isolation for almost a year post-transplant because he was so vulnerable. We were unable to allow him to be a normal child. He couldn't go to, all of the fun things that you want to take a little toddler to, soft plays, things like that. It were an absolute no-go for him. I was signed off for, my own mental well-being, so I was sort of signed off long-term sick, which was a saving grace really that I was employed, because Scott, being self-employed, went from a full-time income to nothing. Lennox reached out on social media. I imagine seeing Teddy's story, which is great for us, because you feel so alone when you're stuck in hospital. So having someone like Lennox reach out to us is a little bit of comfort, a little bit of feeling less alone. The emotional impact of having Lennox to support us was really significant, as well as the sort of emotional support and the community that sort of rallied around us were also able to provide us with a financial grant whilst we were in hospital. Lennox sent something that I'll always remember, I'll never forget, this amazing backpack full of little goodies, and when you're stuck in that hospital it's the home comforts that you miss the most, and I will remember it so vividly, this grey blanket, and it was when we were in transplant and we weren't allowed those kind of things, and I remember laying on the parents' bed and they're so uncomfortable and you're just used to this sheet that's like a tissue, and I just put this blanket around me and it felt like a big warm hug. And I had Teddy in bed with me and we both just fell asleep, and I was like, I'll never forget that blanket. It's just something so small can have such a huge impact on you, and it's really important that Lennox continues to receive the financial support from as many people as possible, because I don't think you can really understand the impact that they're having for parents like us going through and navigating childhood cancer. It can happen to anybody and you just never think it would happen to you, and it's one of the most isolating feelings. So to have the support of Lennox has really got us through and out the other side where we are today. And I think, childhood cancer seems so rare until you're in it, but it's not. It's all too common, and one of the biggest things I'll say is it's never you until it's you.
Yeah.
So Katie is still walking. I have just tried to find a blister plaster so I can walk Willow to go and find her to do the last little bit with her. And in her ginormous backpack that she is carrying, she's got all of her supplies, which in those supplies are the blister plasters. So I have strapped it out with a bit of gauze and a bit of some sort of medical sellotape, hoping that's going to work. And then I'm going to go and meet her and bring her big training walk to an end and walk the little pooch because she's staring at me. All right, I'm coming.
Here we are back home, almost a couple more minutes. I hope that Lennox video was okay, and it means a lot to me sharing that story, and yeah, that's our reason why. So if you would like to follow the journey and the challenge, remember to follow us on Instagram. We'll be doing some lives on the day, and the link to our donation page as well if you would like to support Lennox and us to get through this challenge. Thank you so much for putting up with me on this walk, and hopefully there'll be some more Teddy back on the screen soon, as there's nothing quite like a bit of Teddy energy. Take care guys, thank you, bye.
That's a perfect time to end that video there. If you like this video, don't forget to give it a big fat thumbs up, subscribe to our channel if you haven't already, a huge thank you to our Life with the Bridges family members, and remember, live for today, as tomorrow is never promised. We'll catch you in the next one, chaps.